What's up? My name's Julia.
I'm Kelsey.
And we are on the Poor People's Podcast.
We are HiFi Brew Lounge. We are actually a brewery. We do have some really great cocktails too, but beer is our first love. So our brewer has been in the industry for about 25 years. He's been doing a lot of different things. He was at Court Avenue, he was at Flicks, and now he's here. So we benefit from that. Probably one of our favorites right now is our Brown-Eyed Girl. It's actually an older recipe that he had from past stuff. So I'm gonna pour one of those for you. It's super easy, I just use the lever. This Brown-Eyed Girl here is gonna be a lot more malty, so it's gonna be a little bit more on that roastier, kind of toasty side of things. A little bit lighter body, but one of our favorites here for sure.
I'm gonna be running you through one of our house cocktails. It's called Working Late, and it's our solution to flat espresso martinis with no head, without the need for an espresso machine. So we start with half an ounce of a rich, mostly not crystallized Demerara syrup. And then we're gonna go in with our espresso sub in. This is Mr. Black Coffee Liqueur. It's produced out of Australia. A little classier, a little bit less sweet. So we go in with an ounce and a half of that. And then we're going to go in with 2 ounces, because we're not messing around, of the vodka that's been keeping bars in business for as long as it's been around, Tito's Handmade. This is our Back in Black stout beer. So we do about an ounce of that, maybe. Not rocket science. And we're gonna go in for a reverse double shake here. So we're gonna shake over ice first, and then we're going to dry shake it to kind of fluff it up and incorporate some air. So now we're gonna double strain this, making sure to get all of the big ice cubes and all of the tiny little fractured pieces of ice. And then we're gonna go back for a dry shake. And then we're gonna serve that in a nicely frosted coupe glass. A little bit of an overpour, but that's the bartender's treat right there. So after that settles up, you'll have an incredible, delicious, foamy head on top of that that is stable for as long as it takes you to drink it, which is pretty cool.
We're rolling. Okay. Are we ready?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That was welcome to Poor People.
Welcome to Poor People. Hello, everyone.
Hello. I'm your host, Jaden.
And I'm your other host, Anna. It's nice to meet you, ladies.
Yeah. Haley's out today.
Today. She's sick.
But yes, introduce yourselves.
My name is Kelsey. We're here at HiFi Brew Lounge. Do you want full rundown?
Oh, just intros for now. Just
yep.
Yeah.
Hi there. My name's Julia.
Julia? Yeah. And do you bartend here?
I'm a bartender, server, assistant manager.
Yeah,
perfect.
Same.
Okay.
And then we're just everything.
You're everything too?
I also do our socials and do all of our events and music bookings and stuff too. So
okay. Well, yeah, let's dive into like a little bit about your history now that we all have like met. Well, we all met before this,
right.
But like but yeah, so how did you get started here? What's your like where have you worked at before? How'd you get started to where you are now? Everything. Every little dark secret.
Well, when I was a kid.
Had my first drink of alcohol.
My first drink of that's Patreon.
Yeah. $5 a month if you want to join our Patreon, you can hear that story.
So I've been in the hospitality industry, I don't know, since I started working. I started at an ice cream shop. I feel like that's a lot of people's backstory. It feels like,
or Applebee's. Applebee's.
Yeah,
is too.
yeah. It's like weird pipelines into bar.
Yeah.
But so been in hospitality for a while. I moved away for a little bit and came back. I'm originally from here, and when I came back, I actually started assistant managing in a wine and beer department at a little bit more higher end grocery store. And so I dove into wine pretty extensively. I was not prepared at all for that. But I got my first level Cicerone. I don't have that anymore because it like expires after 3 years.
Wait, what was it?
Cicerone, or sorry, not Cicerone, Sommelier. So that's the wine version of Cicerone.
Oh.
But so it expires after 3 years, and I didn't want to go back and pay for more. So
I wonder why that is. Is it just because
it's so that they get you for like that second level, and then it's like $500 or $800 or $1,000 to do it. It's a lot.
Okay, wait. I know nothing about this. So you were in Somalia?
Yeah,
no?
Sorry.
So if you're in wine or beer, I don't know if the cocktail like actually has a program or not for bartenders. I know there are bartender schools, but with wine and beer, there is an actual like certification kind of process to it. And so sommelier is going to be the wine side of things. They are a little bit more, as much as I love them and I love the wine, a lot stuffier and a lot kind of full of themselves. And I think I kind of got to a point where I was like, I'm good. I really like beer. But so I started there. So I dove into wine. I had already been in kind of the beer thing. My husband and I had been homebrewing for quite a while. And then just kind of stopped a couple years after we got back here just because of time. After that, I left to join the Iowa Brewers Guild. It's trade organization for the breweries of Iowa.
Wow.
And so I was the associate director. So doing a lot more like association management, but basically like all the breweries were like my children. So I wasn't allowed to have favorites and things like that.
Huh. Interesting.
And
But
then
did you have a favorite?
It's secretly all of us.
And you can find that for $5 on our Patreon.
Everything's a secret. But so I was with the guild for about 4 years. We did a lot of, we put on some festivals, we did some promotion stuff, and then we did some legislative stuff as well. So kind of got like a weird rounding out on that side of things that not everybody has behind the bar, and it's kind of cool to have. So I know, unfortunately, it's cool and it's not cool because sometimes I'm like, is this actually legal? I have to go back and like in my brain and think if this is actually legal or not, for things and stuff like
what?
that.
Actually, just kidding. That'll be on our Patreon for only $5.
How many times can we do this in one intro?
You're killing it right now for our Patreon.
But so I was there for a while, and then COVID happened. I feel like that's an excuse or an explanation all of its own self. I did actually start bartending, and then I took over as a taproom manager at another brewery in the area, and was there bartending for a while, taproom manager for about a year and a half. And then I came here, and gosh, we've been open for what, 7 months?
7 months,
something like that,
or so.
So I think I've been here for like 5 or 6 of them.
Wow.
Cool.
Okay.
So
Were you a part of the opening process here then too?
I was not. She
No.
was.
Okay.
I was like, a month and a half in, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not,
So then tell us, Julia, a little bit about your history here.
yeah. My history here, or just
In general, and then leading
Okay.
up to here.
Okay,
Sorry.
sure.
Yeah.
No, you're okay. I am a.
Also, sorry to interrupt. This is amazing.
Isn't that
by
so
the way.
fucking
It's
good?
so
Yeah.
fucking good.
I'm pretty proud of that
It's
one.
so fucking good.
Yeah,
It's like
she
strong
killed
and
it.
bitter, and like you
Not
absolutely
too
killed
sweet.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Awesome.
good. Okay, sorry to
Glad you
interrupt.
like
Go
it.
ahead.
No, you're okay. I am a particularly young restaurant worker. I'm only 23 as
wow.
of the filming of this episode. So my experience in the industry is a little bit shorter than a lot of other people's. And my experience in independent restaurant industry is even shorter. For a long time, I was working for a not so high-end Midwest grocery store chain in their in-store restaurant department. In the town that I went to high school in is where I got my start in food service. So I was a cook, server. I cooked breakfast, flipped eggs, fried chicken, and made Chinese food as well, which definitely developed a lot of my skills. So I was at that particular chain of establishments for about 7 years. I built my way I built myself all the way up from bagging people's groceries and getting carts to being an assistant manager in a larger city in their restaurant, where, oh my God, that place was messy.
Yeah.
That's a Patreon. One for sure. I could go off. I could go off for an hour for that. But,
And you can find that on our Patreon for $5 a month.
$5 a month.
You already got it. You're doing perfect.
There we go. Born natural, I guess.
Yeah.
And then about 2 years back now, I decided I was tired of like good benefits and wanting to die. So I took a leap and went into local restaurant business as a cook at another local brewery, and did that for about 9 months before the sheer volume that business does wore me out. Left on less than great terms and was out of work for a little while, but then was hooked up with our manager here through a mutual friend that I knew through that job. So I was here for a good portion of the opening. They had all the interior and stuff pretty much done, but I was here early enough to be ripping cardboard off the bottom of new boots and stuff like that. And we have a really cool vinyl wall that leads upstairs to our lounge, and it was my job to separate all of the vinyls that have been donated by local shops from their sleeves. So that took about 3 hours, and by the end of it, I was covered in record fluff and smelled like grandma's house. They had me hauling tile up and down the stairs.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I just kind of like showed up because I needed a paycheck to pay bills, and found myself in a good position to kind of dive into management and more front of house work, and just kind of become more of a restaurant juggernaut. I like being able to do it all. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's super cool. You kind of mentioned this, and we don't have to get too deep into this, but you said you were like doing corporate. Was it like corporate, like behind it, like in a cubicle, or was it like corporate, like restaurant?
No, so
grocery?
it was corporate restaurant, and this particular business has an open kitchen concept.
Okay.
So in a sense, your cooks are also your servers.
Okay.
Which, if you know anything about restaurant industry can get a little bit dicey sometimes.
Interesting.
But one of the things that like kept me going at that job, despite the fact that it was absolutely miserable, was being able to cook and do stuff with my hands, as well as interact face to face with customers.
Yeah.
So there certainly were cool parts about that job, like competitive pay and health insurance and paid time off. But the trade-off was that you went into work and you wanted to die every day. So
that's not like, again, not to dive too deep into that,
yeah.
but like I do kind of want to talk about that, because like that is super like important to like realize that you're in a situation like that, and then like get yourself out of it, and like, do go somewhere else basically, and like have a better mentality. So if you can we talk about that a little bit? Like
let's do it.
just getting from that point to the next.
Yeah, so it was just kind of like when you work corporate, kind of the dark side of food service. It is a really strange scenario, because the guys that are working in desks are doing everything in their power to make your life miserable to bolster their bottom line, right? So it kind of creates this strange pack mentality sort of trauma bond between you and your coworkers, who you may not even like that much, but there's just so much camaraderie because you are all getting screwed over by the same faceless guys every single day. So despite the fact that like not my coworkers were not good people for the most part, it was still just like I care about these people to a certain extent, and it actually becomes very hard to leave scenarios like that. And so you just get these people that are trapped in these like awful, abusive corporate restaurant jobs, but the pay being more competitive to be able to like actually afford housing and having really, really good benefits. I'm talking like the second you qualify for full-time at this place, I immediately got 2 weeks of paid vacation, 40 hours of flex PTO that I could take whenever I wanted, and like top-notch health insurance for really reasonable rates. So it's just kind of like they give you everything you need to fight off the misery of actually working in this super repetitive environment where you are seeing such a mass of people every day that you have so many more awful, like nasty customers. Yeah, that's been one of my favorite things about switching over to local restaurants and breweries is that I see so fewer people a day that my chances of having like bad customers goes down just because of the sample size. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I guess I just got tired of the monotony and nothing changing ever, and feeling like I didn't have any actual agency or ability to contribute to growth in the job that I was at. So that's ultimately, I think, what led me to go local, is just like wanting a job that was fulfilling for my soul and not just for my wallet.
How long were you there for?
I was at that company for 7 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was my
Wow.
it was my high school job, and I worked it all the way up until I tried college and realized that wasn't for me at
Right.
all. And then went back to that because it was a safety net, you
Yeah.
know, and then just kind of kept working there.
Well, and then at that time too, like it feels like, especially when it's like one of your first jobs, you feel like stuck there because
Yeah.
like I can really relate to that because I've been at this restaurant for 10 years and it's not corporate by any means. And I do genuinely love it, but also I do relate to the like not wanting to leave because it's like there's certain people that if I left, I felt like I would be abandoning.
For sure.
And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, you don't want to like,
Screw them over.
yeah, exactly. You don't want them to have to go through any of that stuff. So it's like hard to like leave basically just because you want to like do the right thing, but then you also like take yourself out of that equation, which is like really bad for your mental health also.
For sure. And
Yeah.
I am myself a very routine driven person. So
Yeah.
that makes it even more intimidating to like uproot my entire,
Right.
like, this is my schedule and what I do on a week to week basis, and
Yeah.
like diving into something new and completely unknown.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you were you ever in like therapy or anything like during those times?
No, never, but
No?
I probably should have been.
Well, because I always like suggest that too to like other bartenders and stuff too. They're like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, and it's like, and they're like, I don't know where I'm gonna go, and it's like you should, you know, just try therapy and like just to see if it like helps. You know, it's not for everybody, but
Right.
like there is. It's like it's so sad to hear that there's like those situations that happen in bars like all over. It could be happening right down the street, you know, and like. Just to feel sucks. Like it sucks to have that feeling.
For sure.
you know?
No, but much happier now that I've gotten out of
Good.
there, you know.
Good.
Significantly poorer too, but that's okay.
P-O-U-R.
Yeah.
Poor.
P-O-U-R.
Yeah. We're all poor people here. Yeah. It's all the same.
But no, local restaurants have been a really good change of pace, and
Mm-hmm.
it feels like I'm actually contributing something other than just being a cog in the giant corporate
Yeah,
machine.
absolutely,
Which
yeah.
is sick.
Well, and I worked in like an actual like corporation, and like it had nothing to do with restaurants at all. But I hated it too, like just the monotony of that. And like I'm somewhat routine based, but also I like to think that I like live like 1 minute at a time, you know,
Sure,
like,
yeah.
or it's just kind of like every day can be a new adventure if you want it to be, you know.
Yeah.
Like so, I have
always-
terrible memory. So where am I? No, I'm just kidding.
There's always something going on though, but like what you said, you were working and you felt like every time you were going to work, you felt like you wanted to die. That's like, it's so, sometimes I've been at a place like that and then I made a change and it was nice. I made a change for the better. And honestly, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't make that change. So like how you said that, you know, working locally is completely different. It is, it truly is, because we are all very, here for one thing, not only just to like create a family and like a safe space at our workplace and actually make it enjoyable to want to go and do our jobs. We don't have to worry about like someone constantly nagging at you and things like that. Like people that actually hire you know that they're hiring you to do your job and they know you're going to do your job.
It's great to be managed on a daily basis by someone that's actually in the damn building.
Yes.
You know?
Yep. That too. Or like they've actually been in your shoes and then they're up higher than you. My boss actually worked everything and then he actually owns the bar that I work at now. So I totally understand where you're coming from, because he's a huge advocate of saying like, I've been in your shoes. I understand. Now, like other people may not understand where you're coming from because they haven't done it before. They just own a restaurant and they just think that like,
Just stepped in.
yeah, like,
where they
oh,
are.
like, you know, the customer's always right. Honestly, it's not. Like the fact that we have people that will stand behind us and say, okay, like I'm going to calm this person down, but I'm obviously like I'm on your side. Just like I'm just have to be professional about this and like let the customer know that they are right, but like I understand where you're coming from and like I'm on your side about something. So I do like how you definitely made a change and are working local because you deserve that.
Yeah. No,
We don't have
feels
trauma bond here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something about trauma bonding with the coworkers though that I do like somewhat enjoy in a way, you know, because you always get to shit on the same people and like whatever, but like most of the time it's bad.
Yeah.
It's not good ever, but like there's a little bright side in that, you know, very dark tunnel. But no, I think that's an important lesson. Basically, just that like you can, you know, find a healthier place to work at that you enjoy working at. You know, you just have to you just have to find it. You know, you have to, you know, sometimes you have to just like learn through working at a shitty corporate job before you like realize that like HiFi is the shit, like the place you want to work, dude. This place is awesome. Like seriously.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's so good. He's like, actually, I hate it every day.
It's terrible.
Well, I mean, less is more. Like you said,
Yeah.
you know, just because you're not making as much money, it's still more to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Less
No,
is
for
more.
sure.
Less is definitely more.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy what I'm doing when I come here. Like,
It's
you know.
fulfilling, and the people that I work with, I know are here because they like want to be here.
Right.
Like
Exactly,
the benefits are of local restaurants aren't great, and the pay isn't as competitive as corporate places. So you know that the people are here really want to be here because there's like the incentive.
You could go
Yeah.
otherwise.
Yeah.
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 Well, Kelsey, with your expiration of your license, like has that like kind of contradicted like where you wanted to go to work at? Like, because you have that on your resume, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you think did people still
Do you
ask
have a copy of your resume we could take a look at? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Did they? So like when people look at that, do you tell them that it expired and that you didn't want to go back and get it? Or?
I think it's totally fine to do so. Like I said, I basically kind of dove headfirst into wine, and it is a whole other thing. And either you're in it and you're in it forever, basically, and it turns into like you going to college, basically, to get these different certifications.
That's crazy to me.
It's wild.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah.
Like I understand like doing like brewery stuff or like, I mean, it makes sense to go to school for wine, but like it just never occurred to me that was a thing.
It's and it gets pretty. I mean, it's intense. It's just like going through a master's program for anything, really. But so I think at some point in time, just what I wanted changed, or me realizing like, am I actually just trying to fit myself into this box because this is my my manager's kind of focus, and so I just want to, you know, the people pleaser thing. Like, yes, I'm going to go this way. I'm just going to follow you like a, you know, like a good little lamb or something like that. Is this actually what I want to do? Or it's kind of the same thing. This wasn't like a soul crushing job by any means, but it was still, you know, something where it was like kind of high stress and things like that. I was definitely not a,
Somalian.
right. I've done retail before and things like that. And it was a little bit more retail facing than I think maybe I wanted to. And I think that was kind of part of it. I did really like talking to people. I liked really suggesting wine and things like that. And I was really good at it. But I just realized that maybe, I don't know, beer's better. I like drinking beer. I like talking about it. I like hanging out with the people who make it and the people who serve it because they are a little bit more down to earth, I would say. And I feel like that's, you know, lumping everybody who is into wine into one category. But it is it's definitely like kind of a different industry for sure. Yeah, exactly. Pinky in the air kind of thing, you know?
Okay. What is like, okay, so what if I'm trying to pair a wine with like a PBR?
Pair of wine with
Yeah, like just
double fisting.
double fisting.
I wish our head producer was listening to this right now.
not even listening. What would you recommend? I'm all ears.
I don't know. You're going to have a bad hangover in the morning.
She would recommend the PBR. Did you just hear her? She
I
loves to
would
drink
say
beer.
just one or the other. Yeah. Right? Like,
Probably a Tylenol.
Do I have to? Do I a
and
Tylenol?
then-
Okay.
And then wine, and then
Okay, so I actually do have a question about this. I've always been curious about this because I genuinely don't know. But like when you do like wine pairings with food, how actually like how do you figure that out? Like how much wine do you have to drink with like a chicken like sandwich to like know what goes with it?
okay, so I have a fairly not long, but a little bit into
Oh,
the story.
all details,
All
every
details.
single detail. I
So
want to
when
feel like I'm in
was-
Somalia.
So when I was at that job, the thing is, I did have some really good like opportunities, and so there is a basically not quite the same thing as like the guild when I went to that, but there's a wine kind of. What do I want to say? Like wine promotion kind of group, and they do a lot of events and things like that. And so I was
Like
pretty,
a networking group for wine, kind of.
well, it's actually more customer facing
Oh,
than
okay,
anything else.
okay.
So they do like a bunch of big different events throughout the year. They do a lot of paired dinners, things like that. And one of the things that they did was basically it's called Iron Som. So it is a two Soms go up against each other, and they pair 3 different courses, and they're blind. And so
Wait, what's a psalm?
sommelier?
Oh,
Som.
okay. Sorry.
Short.
Okay.
Come on, keep up, keep up.
I know.
Come on.
I don't know all the lingo.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
my God.
Okay, so that's an official
Yeah,
like
so it's an event
title.
Yep, so it's
a psalm.
sommelier. Som is short.
sommelier,
For short,
okay.
Yeah. So basically, you have 2 Soms that go up against each other, and they pair 3 courses, and they pick the wines, and then they have this big dinner, and people will eat the course with both wines, and then they'll vote blind on what wine they thought paired better. I won that twice. I was the first person to win it twice.
So then
And
you
yet
that's
my
awesome.
license is expired.
Congrats.
Yeah, right.
Congrats on that, by the way. That's
But
actually really cool.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
And it really is just being able to sit there and go, how does this work with something? Does this make one of these things taste bad? Does it make one of these things taste really cool? Like, you know, it's the same thing as even when you're just building a recipe for food. Like, I need to put some acid in this to make this other thing balance. So
To have a crazy night
right,
tonight.
Right. Yes.
Just kidding.
Also on Patreon.
Also, yeah, we're gonna take acid and pair some wines on our Patreon. No, but sorry, I interrupted.
No, yeah, right. But so it's basically the same thing. So knowing what varietals in wine and what those characteristics of those varietals are, and how those typically work with different meats and things like that, like red meat versus pork versus chicken versus fish, like all those, you kind of want something that's either not too heavy for the fish, or you want something that's heavier for the steaks. So it's just kind of, a lot of it is like, all right, so if this, then this, then this, and then you get a little bit of like place to play around.
So like how many wines do you think you would go into? So you only pick 2 per meal, right?
So I picked 1, and so there were 2 Soms, and we each picked
Oh,
1.
right,
and then
right.
We did
And then
for 3 courses.
Gotcha. Okay. That's crazy. So like, is
It's
there,
super fun.
if you could like dumb it down as simply as you could, like what pairs mostly with like chicken, beef, pork?
So typically, if you're doing beef, if you're doing steak, things like that, you want something big and heavy. A lot of people are pretty comfortable knowing what Cabernet Sauvignon is. So that's a pretty good one. I usually stay away from it for the most part because there are other really good options too. Syrah is going to be big and meaty, and it usually has a little bit more earthiness to it. Cabernet Sauvignon, typically you're getting a little bit more of that red fruit characteristic, just depending on where it's from. That's the other thing is not only is it just this varietal, now where is it coming from?
Yep.
California wines are
They're
being
okay,
nice,
right?
they're not great.
Yeah,
Napa Valley?
they're okay wines. Like everyone, like
it's just
amps them up way
yeah.
too.
She's
like,
from
far.
Somalia,
agree.
dude. You can't argue with her about her wine tasting.
I'm
She
agreeing.
knows.
I'm agreeing with her that
Oh,
like
okay,
California
okay.
wine is
Sorry,
like always not
I was
like.
defending you is
no,
what I was
I
doing.
appreciate it.
You sit right down. I'm agreeing.
Eat shit, California.
Yeah, eat shit, California.
Exactly. No, it is, and I think part of that is it's comfortable for people too. And they're like, well, I know this is from California, and I've been to California, so like and once you get past that, people get really like intimidated, and a lot of times countries outside of ours are not putting the varietal on the bottle, so you have to know this is a varietal that's grown in this area that and so it's intimidating for somebody who's just like, I just want some wine to drink with my
Yeah, that's
pasta that I'm
exactly.
making at home.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've
Yeah,
always
yeah.
thought. I've like never had like a 4-course meal or anything or whatever it is, however many courses there are.
Yeah.
But like I prefer like 10 to 12 courses.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, exactly.
But like I was like thinking about that where I've been at restaurants and they'll be like, oh, this like chicken parmesan pairs really well with this hama. And I'm like,
I love.
Wait,
when-
say that again. The what?
the hola
That was correct. That was correct. That's a really good line.
And it's just like, I'm like, how, like, I don't know. Like, I like wine, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, what if I don't like that wine? And I'm not. I'm going to like it. But like,
How do you
How
drink?
do you drink almost?
I will. I absolutely will.
How do you drink your wine? Out of the bottle or by the glass?
By the bottle.
Well, and I do like restaurants that do that because at least there's somebody that's put in the thought. And
Right.
if you're like, I don't know, and I'm really intimidated, like, and part of that might be, you know, some sort of like distributor, like partnership, things like that. There's a lot of like underlying things to that too. But I think it is helpful for people if they're just like, I don't know. Like I said, steak, big reds, pork, actually Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is usually a little bit lighter red. It has a little bit more red fruit characteristics.
I thought it
to
was a
and-
darker red. See, I'm learning stuff.
There we go. And then chicken, you can kind of go both ways. It just kind of depends on what you're doing. If it's
Okay.
like red sauce or things like that, I would still go red. If it's like lemon, things like that, I would actually go white. So you can kind of go both ways. And then like fish, a lot of times I'm going to go white no matter what. It just depends
Okay.
on.
Do you
again,
think
the
Chardonnay
preparation.
would be good for like lobster and things like that? Because it's kind of like a buttery taste.
It depends on what you want, because
Okay.
there are some shards that are, you know, you're going to have that buttery characteristic to them. There are other ones, so a lot of it has to do with where it's aged too. So those aged in like barrels and things like that are typically going to have a lot more of that butter if you're coming from like California, but from France, not necessarily. They're just like neutral.
Yeah.
But then there's you can age it in concrete, you can age it in steel, and all those kind of impart a different thing too. I really struggle with buttery Chardonnay.
I only like Moscato or like a Prosecco and champagne.
and then
that's
bubbles.
all,
That's a whole.
That's
other
all
thing.
you got
That's
for
a
me.
whole
I
other
just like
thing.
the bubbles. I don't like
Yeah.
any of the flat wines. I don't like any of the red wine unless it's like a sweeter red wine. But I really like how like you guys said with restaurants, they actually put in parentheses, get
it'll
it with
help you.
this. If
Yeah.
you don't like red, you can get like a white with it. But again, like you said, with the whole chemistry of it all, that a certain taste in the wine, it makes the red meat taste even better. It makes it taste juicier and it accents with
Dessert's
like
the big one.
Yeah, that
dessert's
too.
the big one.
Oh,
If
wow.
you have a wine that is like way dry compared to your dessert, everything is just gonna taste bad.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
you also don't want it too sweet, and then because if it's too sweet, then it's gonna make your cake taste like really dry and weird too. So that's like a
Crazy.
really weird balance.
they
in
sometimes
dessert.
they offer a sherbet for your
Yeah.
ice cream to help with that
As
Yep.
wine?
with your wine. Yeah.
yeah
No,
But,
I
oh,
wish
yeah,
I wouldn't
you're talking about like a palate cleanser and things
Yep,
like that.
yep, yep.
Oh, I didn't even think about that either.
You haven't had a 5-course meal, 4-course meal?
No, only
We're gonna
12,
have to go.
remember?
Yeah, only 12.
I've never been to Somalia. So if I'm at work and they are eating a double pepperoni, it's called a double decoroni pizza, and I
Okay.
pair it with a Pinot Noir, and they say I'm dumb, do I tell them they're wrong?
No, the customer knows, right?
Dang it! I
That's
just wanted to.
that's the worst. Where like
I just-
you're like, oh, that's an awful pairing, and you're gonna hate it. But like, sure.
It's
Whatever
beer
you
and
want.
pizza.
I prefer.
Yeah, exactly. Beer and pizza. Like,
Yeah.
Beer and pizza.
See, okay,
Not beer
well,
and
I
wine.
prefer my champagne paired with orange juice
Ah,
as a mimosa, and then I drink 12 of them for brunch. And
exactly.
no, but I will say though, on the contrary to wine, I do feel like I could pair beer with food.
So it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I feel like I could do that easier than I could do wine, because wine to me is like, I mean, it's the stratosphere. You know, it's like I have no idea. It's either like red or white or the ones I can pronounce or not.
Yep. Well, and the thing with beer too. I mean, if you think about it, there's all of these different varietals of wine. There's also a million different varietals of hops, and they're
Yeah.
also, you know, engineering new ones all the time. So they're all going to be different flavor profiles and things like that, depending on what they're using. So basically, you're talking the same way. You're just talking about beer as opposed to wine.
Interesting. I just feel like I have trouble like differentiating wine.
Yeah.
Like,
I think a lot of people are like, if I don't have that, you know, background, or I'm not in the right headspace, you know, I always like to say, I read in a like wine enthusiast or something like that one time, they were talking about pairing or not pairing, about tasting, and how people taste a lot of different things, and how some say like really stupid stuff like, oh, it tastes like a briny rock on a river or whatever.
That is sort of an oaky afterbirth.
And they're like, oh, so did you go taste that? And some people are like, maybe, but like my favorite was Pinot Noir that tastes like puppy ear smells, and I was like, no, I know exactly what that is. Yes.
What is
like
this?
Soft and like
It tastes like
a little
puppy
sweet.
ear smell.
Yeah,
They're just
like,
making
it's-
shit up
Yeah,
at this
no,
point.
they totally are. But
Yeah.
that's my favorite one because I'm like, and people are like,
I would like.
I would like something different.
Now I need to try a glass of this wine. I'm
And
just
be
like,
like,
what?
do I taste?
Why am I'm getting hints of puppy ears?
Who licks puppy ears? I don't know. That's like saying like you like puppy's breath.
Yeah,
That's a thing.
I mean,
that's weird.
yeah.
I don't. I
People
don't even
love
like my
puppy's
cat's
breath.
breath.
I just like new puppy smell. Like new puppy
I mean,
Head
smell.
yeah,
producer
okay,
puppy's
that I
breath.
can-
Check
Yeah.
mark.
That I can understand.
Is it like a new car?
A little bit. I mean, it's a little bit different. It's like a little bit more. It's
like a new-
baby smell. I feel like.
Yeah, you haven't put any miles on it yet. So it's
Right.
pretty fresh.
My puppy's got 10 miles on it.
At least. Oh man.
Well, Julia, so since you're the assistant manager, how is that going so far? Since you guys have been open for 7 months?
7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going well. It's been cool to see the progression of this place from like week 1 where it was like, oh my God, we got 5 tables today. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
To like an actually like positive in the bank account, like popular growing restaurant. It's been really fun.
Good.
And it's given me a lot of growth opportunities too. I've been really fortunate.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
She's building our summer cocktail list.
Yeah,
Oh,
working on that right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, got some cool stuff coming up. Maybe a sweet tea old fashioned.
I'm super excited for this.
Yeah, I'm
that
pretty
sounds
pumped.
really fucking
Raspberry hibiscus gin sour.
Oh.
Yeah, just like some nice patio sippers, stuff that you could want to crush 4 or 5 of out on that
Yeah.
sick double decker patio out there.
Just like the pizza, double deckeroni is what
There
it's
you go.
called.
So
A
for your
double
guys'
decaroni on the double decker.
yes, yes,
That's what you should call it. You should wait. Do you guys serve food here, right?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
It smells good. I can smell it. Also, the Julia, your record wall. I think I already said this earlier, but it was like the first thing I noticed when I
Isn't that
walked in
sick as
here.
hell?
It's so
Yeah.
sick.
No, and if you check the corners of that, you can actually see where they melted the center of the vinyl with a heat gun and then bent it around the corner of the
yeah.
wall.
So they didn't have to cut the vinyls. I like
Yeah,
that. So they
that's
actually took
cool.
advantage of the whole
Yeah.
thing.
And,
Yeah.
and then downstairs, above the lower bar, because we have 2 bars here, and that's pretty cool.
We are in the upstairs.
We are, yes. But downstairs, above the above the bar, is a display that was made using the covers of those vinyls, the actual cases. That is covering up a really fucking ugly AC duct.
Oh, okay.
Where like the guys that were building this place were sitting at the bar one day, probably drinking beer and thinking about the construction, and they were like, "What can we do to cover it up?" And they said, "What if we made it look like record crates?" So they hired a woodworker to put like wood paneling on there, and then they took just like a 1/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch of the spine off of those and glued them all in place, so it looks like they're kind of haphazardly stacked in
That's
there.
really cool.
And then there's some original Star Wars figurines from the woodworker's childhood collection that
That's so
are
cool. posted
posted up there too, so you can see bendy arm Chewbacca and apparently the wrong Princess Leia, but I don't know enough about Star Wars to confirm or deny that.
it's the wrong Princess Leia. I'll have to
I
check it
guess,
out.
yeah.
I think also I love all of the like band memorabilia, and you have like records hanging up, and in the bathrooms too. There's like full size posters.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
gorillas, the B-52s. I didn't see the other bathroom.
The gorilla.
Mount Joy's in there, right?
I think so.
Mount
Joy's
Joy.
one of them.
I
Yeah.
love Mount Joy. I
It-
shot for them before.
In
Yeah.
the
That's cool.
in the upstairs, since this was a little bit more of like a rental party area, was the vision. We have single stall restrooms,
Yeah.
and the one with the gorillas poster is my office.
Yeah.
That's where you can find
Oh
it.
yeah,
You know?
it's so cool. That is a really cool gorillas poster too. I
It
love,
is,
I love
yeah.
the gorillas.
No, just the whole aesthetic of this place is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people come in like because of the way I look. They come in and are like, "Are you the owner?" Because you look like you would
look
open
like
up.
this
You look
vibe.
like you would open a place that looks like this.
And even with the record wall too, it's so like perfectly like organized, like everything. When we were carrying stuff up here, I was like trying not to like bump into anything because I didn't want to like knock anything off.
They're on there pretty good.
Okay,
do
good.
you want a little Patreon bit, or do we wait for that?
Well, if you want to give a little sneak peek into the Patreon,
there may or may not be a couple of naughty records hidden on that wall.
we'll have to
I don't
figure
think
that
I even
out.
know this.
Yeah. there's some X-rated records on that wall,
Nice.
which I didn't even know existed,
Which
but
is
makes perfect sense.
That's hilarious because I also noticed outside the bathrooms too, you have like Sesame Street Fever and like it's like the Sesame Street version of the Bee Gees album.
No, when I was pulling all the vinyls out of their cases, my boss told me to put aside any of them that I thought were particularly cool, so that we could display those. And I found out very quickly that my definition of what was cool was very different from what his was, because I was pulling out like Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue because that's my favorite big band piece of all time. I found the soundtrack of the Muppets movie.
That is cool.
A Jazzercise record.
Yes.
And I was like, these are cool. And he's like, that's not what I was going for.
That's so funny.
Everyone's stuff is different, though.
Right.
Yeah,
Chose the wrong
of
bitch for the
course.
job on that one.
So you said everyone donated those records, right?
Yeah, no, they were just like scrap records from local shops in the West Des Moines area that would have just been like rotting in their basements for the most
Like
part.
stuff
So
that you can't sell.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Can't
stuff-
pay people to take.
yeah, stuff that's like not good, but it's just there's so much of it that the value is super deflated and everybody has it. So I think it's cool that these have been immortalized in a work of art rather than rotting in a landfill somewhere.
Yeah,
when people
absolutely.
run out of
Yeah,
space for them.
yeah, I can agree to that.
Do you know what so is it based off of the movie High Fidelity?
No, so the
like,
reference
name?
is High Fidelity, but it's just kind of referencing like the golden age of music audio.
Okay.
And the whole restaurant is kind of just themed around like not necessarily. I feel like a lot of people come in here and think that we are, because of like the vinyls and stuff, we're specifically like an old heads sort of place, and it's really more about just a general love for music. So we
Yeah.
do have a lot of old references in the beers and things like that. But I also like to sneak in some fun like newer references for young folks and the
Yeah.
cocktails and things like that.
Cool.
Just to kind of make it a place for all sorts of music lovers.
Well, so I was gonna say, because like that, like I said, that was the first thing I noticed when I walked in here is just how everything is music. And I've obviously seen the movie High Fidelity,
Right.
and so I work in the music industry also. So I do like a lot of like photos and videos for like a lot of the bands that come through towns and stuff. And so I'm constantly wearing band merch like for every show. This is also band merch. This is also from Austin City Limits. Like my entire closet is 100% just band merch basically. So like I was trying to think today. I was like, I figured this place had to do something with music, but I always kind of like to surprise myself before I get here. Not saying that I don't do any research at all, but like, I wanted to be like completely decked out in like different band shirts and like do all that. And obviously I should have, because that would have fit in perfectly here.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's so cool. The aesthetic of everything here is super cool. Very loungy, very like, I feel like, I mean, you guys don't allow smoking in here, but I'm saying like it feels
like a smoker
It feels
lounge.
like you would like smoke a cigar and like put on a vinyl and
It should
do all
be
that.
filled with cigarette smoke,
Yeah.
I think.
Right. Just like
Yeah.
good.
You were on the legislation for wine or Somalia or something, so you should figure that out. You get
We
it
do-
approved in Somalia.
We do have a lot of people that think that we play vinyls, and we're like, God, no, that's like a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine
That's
the
like flipping
logistical
every 20
nightmare?
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
Like, no.
And then you'd have to hire a guy just to sit there by the record player and
Just to change it.
and shove people, like shove drunk people away that are trying to touch your vinyls.
Yeah. It's definitely not ideal. I mean, I love vinyl music, and like I have a vinyl collection, as you know, I feel like most people nowadays do to some extent. But like also at the same time, I'm like, sometimes I'll look through it and I'll be like, man, that's really gonna be awesome. And then I'll just like go to my Alexa and play it on Spotify.
Yeah.
Right. It's
You
just
know,
so much
like-
easier.
But yeah, no, it's super cool. And I love the like whole mafia vibe too. It feels
Yeah.
like Like, especially with I mean, I don't know if you can see it
We
behind
called
me,
it the
but
Mafia booth.
it
so
is
yeah.
a mafia booth for sure. And that one too, like, it feels like you guys could do a whole mafia like scene in here.
It's
of
pretty
some sort.
sweet. No, and I like the kind of duplicity of this room in the sense that
Exactly.
it provides like a super like comforting, quiet, cozy like dinner ambiance. But then we've also had like we had these folks from California who came and had their wedding rehearsal dinner here, and it was, you got to see the two sides of the room all in one night, where all of the parents and grandparents were here, and we were having a nice dinner, and everybody was, you know, sipping their drinks and stuff. And then a little bit later, they sent all of the parents and stuff home. Then we turned the lights down and threw the disco balls on, and then started doing shots.
That's awesome.
And this place turns into a real kind of club.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
it's in the environment that you where you let it be.
Yeah.
Especially
super cool.
Yeah, we had a jazz band, a local jazz band here. I don't know.
A couple times.
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, they're called MFKS. They fucking
Oh yeah,
they fucking
I know
rule.
them. I've done their music
Yeah.
videos
Yeah,
before.
yeah, MFKS fucking rules.
Their backyard videos I did.
Oh, sick.
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so they were here. They brought I think a 4-piece and a singer
Yeah.
during the holidays, and did kind of a little like jazzy take on Christmas music, which was super fun. And this place was absolutely packed, and it felt like it transformed from like a formal restaurant to a bar.
Yeah.
Just in
Yeah.
like in a
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So wait, do you guys do live music here then?
every Thursday from 7 to 9.
Ooh,
Yo.
Nice. Do they set up here or downstairs?
Yeah, just right in the corner over
Back
there.
here?
Yeah.
We've got some people that want to do outside when it's nicer out, and we, because of when we opened, we kind of missed that patio patio thing. So we're kind of like trying to figure that out and seeing what that would look like. But
Oh, okay. I have a good topic for us. So I also work. So this has been open 7 months, right? So kind of late last year, a little bit. So I'm currently working at a bar downtown. They opened up their basement, and it feels like we're getting like, how do I put this? Okay, so when they first opened, there was kind of like that growing pain like area where it's kind of slow. You know, you're kind of doing everything you can to like get people in the door, whatever it takes. And that like fizzled and went away, and it was like a consistent thing. But then they opened up the basement part, and that part's brand new, and they opened up 2 more days out of the week. So it's like it feels like we're going through like a second round of growing pains. So like what I wanted to talk about is like how you both are like getting through those growing pains of the 7 months, because the basement that I'm working at has only been open roughly 2 months now. So we're still getting the ball rolling on a lot of things, but just like how you both deal with that, and especially with this place here.
I mean, honestly, with this joint specifically, we've been really fortunate to have the support of like a beloved fan base of our sister restaurants.
yeah.
Because we're part of a fairly well-known family in the West Des Moines area that has a lot of like very loyal like cult followers. So we had the benefit of a lot of that support at first. But what's been particularly cool about building this place from the ground up to me has been watching and being a part of it, finding its own identity outside of just being like another establishment in this family, you know? So there's definitely been the growing pains from, we opened up and a lot of our wait staff were first time servers and they did a great job. But a lot of them were just like super young, inexperienced. It was my first ever full-time front of house gig as well. So definitely had the growing pains.
And that's tough too when you're like a first time server, first time, you know, whatever.
at a brand new restaurant.
And then
Yeah.
you're like, this is awful. Like,
Yeah.
why would I subject myself to just
Right.
sitting here all the time? But yeah, I mean, and I think you said something where it's kind of like you're throwing out everything just to get people to come, and that's kind
Right.
of been a lot of what I've done because I'm doing our socials and I'm doing our events and things like that. So, starting up live music and doing it every week, you know, back in December when we first had a couple things, we're like, oh, we'll do it after this like holiday thing close to us and be like, hey, it's an after party. And then going into, all right, we're going to do this every week and this is going to be the thing and be a thing. And doing that, you know, trying to keep that consistency and trying to keep that like, all right, so everybody knows Thursday nights from 7 to 9, I'm going to go there because they're going to have some music or something like that. We've done a couple. Well, we've only done one pop up. We talked about a Valentine's Day one, and then did something different. But
but
we did a pop up up here for Halloween. We called it the 27 Club, and like fully covered everything in cobwebs. And
do you have pictures of that?
I do. Yeah,
we should put those.
Yeah.
You should send them to us,
Yeah.
and we can put them in.
Absolutely.
Right
That
here.
was pretty fun. We dressed up. I was Joan Jett, who was not part of the club. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
I was
wanted to
gonna
dress up as Joan Jett.
I was
Joan Jett's still alive, isn't she?
She is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's still kicking.
I was like,
shout out.
Shout out
love
Joan
you.
Jett. Do love some Joan Jett.
Yeah. But that was super fun. Honestly, in terms of growth of this place, I really attribute a lot of our like maturity and consistency to Kelsey joining the team, just because she is such a fucking powerhouse.
Yeah.
Just like it has been so much more consistent and high quality in terms of socials and advertising. And branding since she's gone on, because she is just this like one woman team who can do your graphic design and your social management and work the fucking floor 5 days a week too.
Hell yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So
Hell yeah, Kelsey, kicking ass.
yeah, she's kind of a big deal.
Do you feel that you've used your Somalia Pirates degree here at all, or do you think that's like? Sorry, I just wanted to make that jump for so long.
It's much
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
much
not-
better than the what it actually is.
Okay, good. I'm not trying to diminish your accomplishments or anything, but Somalia.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you say it. Pirate afterwards,
Yes,
or no?
pirate.
I'm just kidding. No, sorry. I've been holding on to that joke for a hot minute. I just couldn't
now I
help
know.
myself anymore.
So do you guys have any upcoming events that are coming up now, especially for like St. Patty's Day? Are you guys getting ready for that or anything like that?
So
or
we're
farmers
closed
market?
on Sundays and Mondays. So
Okay.
we are closed on St. Patrick's Day. I personally take it off as a religious holiday. So I wouldn't be here
St.
anyways.
Patrick's Day?
Yes. St.
Hell
Patrick's
yeah.
Day and Halloween are my religious holidays.
Yeah. They're the most fun. They're the most fun.
But so we're not open for St. Patrick's Day. Our brewer, he already has an oatmeal stout on. We have an Irish red. He is working on another West Coast style IPA. We're going to call it Rose Tattoo because it's coming out right around then. And so, going to reference to Dropkick Murphys. So those kinds of things, but not necessarily a full blown St. Patrick's Day. We did actually do a 3-course meal for Valentine's Day. So it was all up here. We broke everything down as much as we could into 2 tops and did reservations. And actually it was really, really cool. So hopefully we're going to do a couple more beer dinners and things like that. We just don't have them like actually set in stone.
Yeah. I want to do a first anniversary beer dinner.
Exactly,
I think
yeah.
I think it'd be a ton of fun to do that and like for next year, like have something barrel aged and special to really pair with the courses.
Yeah.
And so, okay, you brew all of your beers here, right? And then I guess so. I don't know anything about brewing either. I don't really know shit about anything if I think about
Why
it.
are you on this podcast?
I don't know. Where am I? Why am I here? No, but okay. I think the brewer, when I parked out front today and got out of my car, I think he parked right next to me, and we were both kind of like sitting in our car. I think. I don't know if
Mike
it's the
was
same
already
guy,
here.
but I did have some questions about the brewery. First of all, where is it?
So where you parked, there's a garage door.
Okay.
So it's basically behind there.
And
It's
he
all-
went
yeah.
in that garage door.
Yep.
Okay.
I wonder. That might have been our general manager. I think. Our
Red
brewer
beard
was already
guy.
here.
What kind of
Yeah.
looked like me, except with a beard.
Yeah,
Because
I think
took mine
I
off.
think I was our general manager.
Okay.
Our brewer's been brewing today, so he's been here for a little
Gotcha.
bit. So
Well, and so I guess what like other than the name inspiration from like music or artists or something like that, like how do you guys determine on what kind of beers you're gonna bring out? Like
that's just whatever he wants.
oh no shit, hell yeah.
He's really dedicated to like classic
Yeah.
old-fashioned beer that tastes like beer.
Well,
Yeah.
and I was gonna say whatever it was the stout,
It was the
nitro.
Irish stout,
Yeah.
back in black.
It tastes like Guinness. Like I mean, but there's obviously a lot of other stuff in
Right.
this, but like it does like I can get that taste of it, and it does
the,
like
the roasty toasty,
Yeah.
sort of deep.
And that one also with that texture too. So we have it on a faux nitro pour because we don't have a nitro line, but it kind of emulates that by the way that the beer pours. And so it emulates that nitro process where, when somebody pours a Guinness, it takes a little bit longer and it like they pour it all the way up and then it has to like settle out. Like it's the same kind of thing here.
With that one too? That was going to be my next question.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not a true nitro line because we don't have that hooked up, but it's a really nice way to have that same characteristic through technology and being able to basically attach that to that pourer and be able to emulate that.
It's not a real nitro line. They somehow managed to make it even more frustrating to have to pour four of them in the middle of your rush.
Hey, Kelsey, have you tried Tipsy Cub yet?
I haven't.
It's a hangover preventative powder. You guys should definitely try this.
That's awesome.
Tipsy Cub. Does that work? You want to just like go from there and then do that? Okay, hang on. Can you pause for a second, please? This is definitely one of my favorite things to do before I drink because I am so hungover and it helps with my nausea. We're going to tear it. Okay, we're going to cheers. Okay, take it.
Where can I buy it? And what if I wanted to get a discount on it?
If you would like to purchase Tipsy Cub, turn over on the pack of the packaging. There is buy more QR code and use 420 for 20% off.
Well, with that, hold on. I think, what are we at on time? 13, so we should be at like 45 roughly. We're about 52. Okay. So with that, we should get into our douche of the week. So this is what we do at the end of, it's a segment we do at the end of every podcast. Your douche of the week can be a customer, it can be a coworker, it can be a pet peeve, it can be just something that happens that you don't enjoy. It doesn't have to actually be an asshole, like a person. Like you can just kind of make it whatever. But I have my douche of the week ready because it just came to me when you were talking about the beer lines.
Well, then go for it, Jaden.
I will. Okay, so the other week, this would have been like last Friday or something like that. I was working all day, worked at lunch shift from like 10 to 4. Right before the end of my shift, the bush light runs out. So I go to the back to change the keg and I'm like really confused because there's two Bud Light kegs that are tapped. The bush light is like the lines, like when they're behind the kegs in our keg room, like they were just like behind the kegs, so you couldn't see which line was actually which, and they tapped them on the wrong ones. So we sold an entire keg of Bud Light as Bush Light. And so then we were down a Bud Light keg, and that's like what we sell the most of, obviously now, because people were buying Bush Lights. And so I was the one that realized it, and I was like, I'm only here one day a week. I know for a fact I'm gonna get like charged with this. Like, basically,
like, you don't know what you're doing.
So I was like, I called in both managers, and I was like, yep, y'all need to take a look at this. And I was like, they're like, I can't believe nobody said anything. I was like, I'm saying something so that you guys don't think that it's me. And they were like, no, Jaden, I thought we were I was talking about customers. I can't believe the customers. I was like, really? You're not surprised they didn't say shit about Bush Light and Bud Light?
That's gonna be my douche of the week. Like, do they actually taste different?
No, they don't. No, they
don't. And so then after I figured that situation, got it fixed, came back out like 15 minutes later, basically.
They complained about the beer.
No. I was like, I asked him, I was like, this customer, I was like, hey, do you want another Bush Light? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, cool, because I've been giving you Bud Light all day. And he was like, really? I didn't even notice. And I was like, I know you didn't. That's why I'm telling you. So you look like an idiot.
So you're technically the douche of the week?
And then, yeah, I was being the douche, but he deserved it. He's a good guy, but he deserved it. But I just thought it was funny because you will get those customers that are like, oh, I can tell the difference. And then you serve them the wrong thing and they're like, yeah, good.
Oh, it's always it's such sweet chaos. It's like, I got you.
That made my entire day. Like knowing I was like, I'm not poisoning people, but it's the idea of like I could have been.
That just reminds me of that one like scene where this apple
from what? What was that scene from that obscure reference that not a single person here got?
It's good. Try it. Like,
I will say.
Oh, I think
it's from Enchanted, how the little squirrel goes, apple, it's good.
From
That's what he's
Enchanted.
giving the Bud Light
Got
to.
it.
It's good.
Oh, is
You're the cute little squirrel that's just telling people, it's good.
Pretty much.
Sorry.
Pretty much. This
my
espresso martini is doing wonders for me right now, I will say.
there's a lot of liquor in that.
Yeah, Julia, you killed this.
Awesome. That's what we like to hear.
I don't really have a douche of the week besides the fact that I went out on Saturday and I had to work a 4-hour shift. But I do have
You were the douche of the week also. It's weird how this douche of the week works. It holds all of us accountable.
And it really does. I was the douche of the week to myself. I had to work a 4-hour shift and I felt like the world was like turning off its axis. But I think my actual douche of the week will have to be saved for the Patreon, which you can subscribe for $5 a month. You're going to want to listen to this because my boss did something naughty. Yeah. And you're going to want to find out about what it is because it is. I feel really bad for this person that had to deal with my boss. Anyways, what is your guys's?
I think my douche of the week is probably actually my douche of the past 7 months.
Okay.
Which is our
High Fidelity Brew Lounge. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Our house brewed hazy IPA Ziggy Stardust is my douche of the week because every time, so our bar in the upstairs lounge gets used a couple days a week less than the other one, and it never fails that when I'm up here bartending for live music and these beers haven't been poured in a while, I typically pour 2 beers at a time. So I'll pull the things and then I'll drop them down and then push them back when it's done. It never fails that I won't be thinking about it, and then I'll go to pour Ziggy Stardust and I'll drop the glass down onto the rail, and it will pop an air bubble in the line, and I will just get covered in hazy IPA.
Oh man, you gotta smell like it all day.
Yeah, so in terms of our beers, that's probably one of the better ones to get covered in, just because of like the nice fruity notes to it. But still not fun to be sticky and wet behind the bar.
Ziggy Stardust back at it.
Stardust,
Bastard.
That's the one that I wanted to get to. Like when we
it's a
take a
good
break.
beer.
It is a good, yeah.
Well, I don't
and
wanna
that
get it.
tells
It's
you
gonna-
that
yeah.
it keeps blowing.
Yeah.
So
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I encourage you to get one. Just don't make me pour it.
Okay. I'll make Kelsey pour it. Or our producer Mike can pour it, maybe. He doesn't know. He's not listening.
what am I doing?
He's in for a good surprise. No, but I was gonna say, first of all, it's I always get these guys mixed up. David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust.
That's the bitch. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the bitch. Ziggy Stardust. And I love hazy IPAs too, so I was immediately like, I'm
That's
in
what
on
I
that. I will say I kind of don't mind getting like blown from the beer.
And you can see that on Patreon for $5 a month.
$5 on Patreon, you can see that.
Oh my god. You couldn't have chose a better word choice, could you?
Well, I was trying because, okay, my reasoning is because first of all, it's awesome. And second of all, is that just
Keep going.
the second part is that like when it does happen and customers see it, they like immediately feel bad for you. So it's kind of like, you're like, oh no.
It's like dropping a glass and shattering it. My favorite thing to ease the like pot like the I like to turn around and go, job opening.
That's what I say too. Except I yell it. I scream it. Job opening. Because our bar is like completely open. So the bar and dining room are like connected basically.
yeah.
So
I'm just really glad that when that happens, it's not like a festival. Because like we were at Great American Beer Festival, and like whenever like the longer into the session it gets, the more trashed people are. Like you hear these glasses drop, and then you hear the entire like Denver Conference Center room go, oh, and it's like the worst.
or just dead silence and then that. It's like, oh man.
mortifying.
It is definitely terrifying, but I love to take advantage of situations like that. And then also like whenever there's new people too, like I'm a very like open, friendly person, and I'm just like anytime there's new people in and they don't know me yet or know my humor, I'll be like, if they're doing something like folding pizza boxes or something, I'm like, hey, what was your name again? And they're like, whatever, Ashley. And I'm like, hey, Ashley, yeah, do you mind keeping that down a little bit? just like, and then I'll just laugh. And like, they obviously like know it's a joke at that point, but it's just, I love that like first, like putting them through the ringer kind of thing.
They got to pay their dues.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And if
joke,
we're not going to have fun at work, then what are we even doing?
What's
like,
the point? Yeah.
Again, bringing it back full circle to having a healthy work environment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Kelsey?
So with that,
No,
let's.
Kelsey
No,
has
no,
to
no,
do
no,
her
no,
Oh,
no,
do
just
it.
kidding. I'm sorry. I thought you already did yours.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
either
I'm so
way,
sorry.
either
I'm
way
so
it's
sorry.
me.
Wow.
I'm so
Either way,
sorry.
it's me. I was like, either it's me being like, can you not tell the difference between Bud Light and Coors Light?
Yeah.
No, because they taste the same.
They do.
No, but it's also me, and this is technically like last week. So I do all of our events and coordinate all of those things. And what was it, like Tuesday of last week? I had a customer call me and was like, "Hey, I just wanted to finalize my menu for my event on Friday." And I was like, "Your event on Friday? Yeah, let's do that." And then I had to go back to my kitchen and be like, "Hey, remember when you asked if I needed any like slider buns ordered?" An hour ago. I need some slider buns ordered. And then this morning she was like, "Do you have a surprise event for me this week?" And I was like, "I don't." Actually, let me check just in case.
Damn.
So your douche of the week is like calling last minute for.
No, is
Or
that
what?
I forgot
Yeah.
about
So
an event.
you're the douche of the week.
Yeah.
It's crazy how us three were all douches of the week, but
She
you
was
were
like, "No,
fine.
it's not me."
No, I'm great. I don't know what you guys are.
Perfect.
Yeah, I've never messed anything up.
Absolutely perfect. Okay, so with that, when are you guys open? What are your guys' socials, and when can we find you guys here?
We are open Tuesday through Saturday. Tuesday through Friday, we're open 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Saturdays, we open at 10 a.m. for brunch. That runs through 3 p.m. And then dinner for the rest of the night. Come April, we'll be opening up on Sundays for brunch. So that'll be 10 to 3. Dinner from 3. Or no, 10 to 3.
Closing the kitchen after
10
that,
to
and then
3,
just bar hours.
closing the kitchen. And then we're going to have some more like bar hours. So the biker crowd can get in here and get fucked up on a Sunday.
Until
Nice.
6, I think. we
Until
said.
6,
Or
yeah.
kind of whenever, question mark.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of a little bit more
We're
open-ended
figuring
there.
it out.
Yeah, growing pains.
Yeah, growing pains.
But that'll be sick.
Yeah.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram.
That's it.
Yeah,
I don't need to.
HiFi Brew Lounge, all one word.
All spelled out.
HiFi Brew Lounge. Cool. And also don't forget to follow Poor People Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and I always forget the last one, Apple Music. And also, we're going to get into our exclusive uncensored Patreon episodes. So make sure you guys follow us on Patreon for only $5 a month.
$5 a
It's
month?
$5.
Oh.
It's so cheap.
For all of that
Worth it,
exclusive
yeah.
content,
There's so much exclusive
uncensored,
content.
holy shit.
It's insane how much exclusive, uncensored, exclusive content there.
Just think of the value.
There's so much value. There's an extra episode every week. That's crazy.
That is twice as much poor people
That's,
as you get for free.
twice the amount of poor.
Where's the amount of poor?
You too can be twice as poor
Yes.
for only $5 a month.
Extra. I fucking love you guys. That's amazing. You guys are awesome. All right. So with that, we can do our sign off here. Thank you for watching Poor People. Wait, no, I ruined it already.
No,
You-
it's okay. All right, guys, ready? For rich or for,
For
poor,
poor.
thanks
for watching Poor People.
Okay. That was fine.
How absolutely normal.